So after watching this movie, the one question that you need to ask yourself is, who you gonna call? Not Kevin, that's for damn sure. Ghostbusters! Released in 2016 and is directed by Paul Feig, who has also directed such films like Bridesmaids, The Heat, Spy, and Last Christmas. And he's also one of the camp counselors in the movie Heavyweights, which is one of the greatest movies ever created on this planet. And this film is starring Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, and Chris Hemsworth. And I feel like it was around this time where the rule was established that really, your movie is not considered to be a movie unless it has a Skarsgård or Hemsworth in it. So, this movie has a Hemsworth, so it's a movie. And the reason why we're talking about Ghostbusters from 2016 is because it was a PayPal recommendation from one of my subscribers on this channel, Henning Kleist, 3D artist. Thank you very much for your support. And I know your message for this review was that you wanted to see me crap all over this movie, and I hate to disappoint you, but I'm not going to do that because I do find this film quite charming for the majority of the time. There are moments in this film where it's a little cringeworthy, but overall, I have a good time with this movie. Aaron Gilbert and Abby Yates were former best friends in high school who wrote a book about finding ghosts and the paranormal. But Aaron Gilbert has broken off that friendship and is trying to make tenure at a pristine university. But after finding out that their ghost book has been officially published, Aaron confronts Abby trying to get her to take it off the market. And through this whole exchange, they get the call that there is an actual ghost in a nearby mansion. So now Aaron and Abby, along with their tech girl Holtz and New York City wise lady Patty, are all taking up the mantle of the Ghostbusters to rid New York City of all paranormal activity. Paranormal activity, see what I did there? It's a ghost movie. Ghostbusters 2016. Ah yes, I remember when the promotion started for this film and trailers came out, posters came out, and everyone, in particular guys in their small little tiny basements that were owned by their parents, got online and started hating this film immediately before ever giving it a chance. Why? Because it's a bunch of women taking over an all-male property, and women can't do that because women don't have brains and can't do the things and blah blah blah. Oh my god, please don't misquote me on that. I was making fun of those people. I don't think that about women at all. Please, no. But audiences were craving another sequel to a pretty famous movie that everyone pretty much enjoys from the 80s. I mean, Ghostbusters 2 was fine. It played on Comedy Central all the time. Here's the Figo! And we had lost Harold Ramis, so we know that he couldn't be in another sequel to Ghostbusters. So Sony decided, you know what, let's just reboot the franchise, let's bring it into the new century, and hey, let's make the entire cast all women. Which I'm totally okay with. If we want to do an all-female cast, yeah, awesome. And hell, while we're at it, why don't we pay them the same as all the male actors do? Wouldn't that be cool? I think the problem, though, surrounding this film is the marketing behind it, because that's what Sony went all in for with this film. Is like, hey, we have all women playing the parts that all the guys did back in the 80s. So here are all the women, so let's focus on that. But that's a marketing gimmick. Let's actually focus on, if we're going to have all women here, who are their characters? Who are they being? What part do they play in the overall story? And hey, let's focus on that as opposed to it just being posters and trailers and everything saying, like, hey, it's all women here. And I hate that I have to talk about that aspect of the movie because, I mean, if you want to do an all-female cast, do an all-female cast. It shouldn't be a big issue. But I know that was the thing surrounding this movie, so in order for me to review this thing, I feel like I should talk about it. I've talked about it. Let's move on. Now, there are two different cuts of this movie. There's a theatrical cut and an extended cut, and I did see the extended cut for this review, and the extended cut, of course, it's a Paul Feig movie, and his wife, Melissa McCarthy, is starring in the thing, so there are moments where Feig will just let these actors just go off on riffs, and comic riffs, and just improvise for hours on end, and then they'll take all the funny little bits and cut it all together and just shoehorn it into the movie. I honestly wish I would have watched the theatrical version, because you can tell when it does get to the extended parts of this film, things that just feel out of place, and kind of just halt the narrative and the story and the plot. Like, hey, we're talking about this pretty important plot point of, hey, the city's gonna be destroyed, but then all of a sudden Melissa McCarthy will go on this long tangent about how someone's pants look on them or their t-shirt looks on them, and it goes on for like 5 minutes until we finally cut and we go back to the important part about the entire city being destroyed. And it's like, why put that stuff in there? I know you think it's funny, and it's probably funny in the moment, but me watching a movie, just wanting the plot and the narrative to move along, it's just completely stopped when you put in those little comedic long riffs that don't need to be in there. So stop putting them in there. And I am pretty satisfied with this entire cast. I think Kristen Wiig does a great job of filling the shoes of Peter Venkman and this cast of characters. The one that's not fully in and fully sold on this idea of being a Ghostbuster, but yet it's kind of fun doing it, and it's making her a little famous, so yeah, we'll bask in it just a little bit longer. Melissa McCarthy's character has been behind this whole Paranormal Activity thing her entire life, and is feeling validated and vindicated for all of her struggles and being made fun of through her entire life, and I think she does a good job. I always love when Leslie Jones shows up on screen. I think she's one of the funniest people on the planet. Love watching her on Supermarket Sway. But she has some really great moments here. She goes on a couple of comedic riffs, but they're not too long, and I really enjoy them. Kate McKinnon, though, feels like she's in a completely different movie than the other three characters. She is being weird for weird's sake, I think. Like, they're all taking out ghosts in Times Square, and the other three are kind of taking it seriously. They're screaming, they're ha-haing, and they're taking out ghosts, but she's there, you know, kind of like, it's ghosts and boo, 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 boo. I'm kind of a badass and weird and quirky because that's who I am. I don't know, just feel completely off for me. I don't think she fit the mold completely, and I think she was really trying to be funny just through quirkiness and different line readings just because, and it didn't fully work for her all the time. And I love that they do have Chris Hemsworth in here, who you look at in real life and you go, you know what, you are a beautiful man, sir. You are a gorgeous looking guy. But they are taking the feminist approach of this movie, and they're putting him in the stereotypical role of a hot blonde in a movie and making him, kind of dumb. I did watch this movie with my wife, and that was one of the aspects that she really liked. She's like, it's nice to see a guy in the role of being the dumb person in a film, as opposed to seeing, a pretty attractive blonde woman in that role. So I like that I watched it with her. That's a different perspective that, I couldn't have because I have my own perspective because of who I am. And I will say that I do like the CGI of these ghosts in this film. Whereas before in the original Ghostbusters films, it was, all transparency, but it felt flat. It felt matte coloring. The ghosts didn't really do anything for me. But here, though, there's a lot of vibrant color, and yes, the technology has improved from the 1980s to now, but I think it's improved for the better. Overall, I think this was a solid attempt at rebooting this franchise, and I wish it wouldn't have gotten all the hate that it did, because I think it's a solid, okay, funny film. You just have a bunch of mean guys who are alone in their basements typing up their reviews online because they're taking away all of our male characters and turning them into women and blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, get over it. It's a movie. Move on. I'm gonna give Ghostbusters 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next, and the next one is another PayPal recommendation from one of my subscribers and one of my friends in real life, Susie Lemire. You recommended the film Pixels, a movie that I have never seen, and I think I have actually gone out of my way to avoid it, because I remember watching the trailer and being so amped for it until it got to the part where it told me that, hey, Adam Sandler and his entire Grown Ups crew is starring in this movie. So to go from, yeah, alright, old-ass video games, this is gonna be awesome, oh, it's the Happy Gilmore people. But we'll check it out for the first time next time. So guys, have you seen Ghostbusters from 2016? What did you think about it? Where does it rank in all of the Ghostbusters properties that we've had over the years? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you'll know the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Pixels. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.